Chief says all the rebels have been defeated and nearly 26 years of civil war is coming to an end. The founder of the Tamil Tigers, Vallupillai Prabhakaran, vowed never to be captured alive, and the military says he may be among the dead, killed along with other top rebel leaders, including his eldest son.
Some of the dead bodies we recovered during the confrontations, and it was confirmed that LTTE leader's son, Charles Anthony, is dead, and we found his dead body.
At one point, the Tamil Tiger rebels controlled much of Sri Lanka's north and east coast, but their quest for a separate homeland slipped away with their territory. This sliver of land became the final conflict zone, where thousands of Tamil civilians were trapped, along with the Tamil Tigers. Sri Lanka's president is expected to formally announce the end of combat operations on Tuesday. The focus, after decades of conflict, will turn to healing the country's deep divisions. Our Sarah Steiner joins us on the line from Colombo. Sarah, I guess this must be a really sort of surreal feeling for people there, because so many of them have never known life not under war, and, with Prabhakaran as well, being such a focal feature.
Yeah, it's true, and you'll hear it in the streets. There are many, many people who are talking about this, certainly everywhere you go. You also notice a huge amount of, basically, of jubilation almost. You see lots of people that have flags. You see lots of flags that the government has put up along these streets and that sort of thing. And government-run television, when it announced the leader of the Tamil Tigers, Vallupillai Prabhakaran, had been killed, everyone in the hotel where we had just walked in was talking about it and asking us questions as to, is it really true, is it really true? But there have been no further details since that announcement made by government-run television as to how he might have died or how the government confirmed his identity. The government website, though, we've just read it, and it says, quote, the troops militarily defeated the LTTE with all its leaders being killed this morning, it says, but it does not specifically mention Prabhakaran himself, which is a bit odd because it does mention that his son had been killed and identified. We have not ourselves been able to independently confirm that, but certainly that is what government-run television announced about a couple of hours ago. If that report is valid, it truly would be a huge victory for the Sri Lankan government in power. Today we're hearing that all the heads of the security forces will formally announce to the president that a military victory has been had, and that is perfect timing, of course, because of the big announcement that everyone is expecting tomorrow by the president himself, who is expected to say the same thing. Anjali?
So what happens now with the country's Tamil minorities, Sarah? They felt marginalised for such a long time now. Is the government going to try and engage them?
I think we're hearing from different groups and hearing from different people who are saying that they are nervous about what might happen. There is certainly so much jubilation and, in their minds, a bit of overzealousness on the part of the victors, that they're nervous. But the president himself is supposed to address Parliament after he makes his victory announcement. He is supposed to then lay out his plan for the post-war era, so to speak. And so that plan will be heard by the Parliament and by the rest of the country. And we have heard from the government that they are looking for some sort of political solution, which is what analysts and those who've been watching this war for the past 25 years has said is the only way to keep this war from turning into a guerrilla war. And letting it stream on in that manner, that a political solution must be figured out where the Tamil minority population feels included in Sri Lanka as anyone else, as the Sinhalese majority. And so that is a very important point and something that we'll be watching tomorrow as the announcement is supposed to be made in the morning, Anjali.
What about the ability for the rebels to regroup, even without Vallupillai Prabhakaran?
It's a question that I just can't answer, and I think a lot of people are wondering what might happen next, though we should say again that those reports have not been confirmed. We cannot get the government to confirm it, nor are we seeing it on any of the pro-rebel websites or hearing anything from the rebel side. So that is still a question as to whether that is truly the case, that Prabhakaran has been killed. But whether or not the LTTE can regroup, nobody knows. Certainly, they have said they've decided to lay down their weapons, and many of them, especially the high-ranking members, have been killed, according to the government. Anjali?
An absolutely historic day there, Sarah. Thanks very much indeed. Sarah Seidner there, speaking to us from Colombo in Sri Lanka. Well, the Tamil Tigers' fight for independence has certainly been long. The rebel group was formed in 1975, and in 1983, the civil war officially began. A Tamil Tiger suicide bomber killed the Sri Lankan president in 1993. In 2002, the government signed a ceasefire agreement with the Tigers, but relations soured and rebels again began their attacks. Last year, the ceasefire officially ended. In January, the Sri Lankan military captured the Tamil Tigers' de facto capital and launched the military campaign. Now, front and centre, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is at the White House on Monday. Can he